Hi, thanks for tuning in to Coffee Talk Thursday. I am Cecilia Manella and I hop on here every single week to chit chat a bit about mental health wellness. Today I want to talk about a concept and the idea of leaning into things that are very uncomfortable. So we as in humans, want to avoid anything that's really uncomfortable. We avoid it, we ignore it, we look away from it, we procrastinate around it. We have all these coping tools that we use to avoid or move away from leaning into some discomfort in our life. Now, this is a natural human thing that we do. We do it in relationships, we do it in parenting, we do it in connecting to other people, we do it with ourselves. We'll avoid looking at things that we need to look at for ourselves. This is a natural human thing that we really want to do. It's also culturally taught to us to not be comfortable with uncomfortable things. So anything that provides us some discomfort, we're immediately looking at ways to alleviate that discomfort as much as possible and move on to trying to be happy and joyful all the time. But here's the thing of why that doesn't actually work out well for your mental health and wellness in general, is that we are built to lean into very uncomfortable things, and we can do a lot of discomfort. And the reason for that is that all of our growth, all of our changes come from a place of being uncomfortable. Nothing ever changes if we're comfortable. We just maintain the status quo. We do the same things. We have the same kind of relationships. We don't change who we are, how we interact with the world if we're comfortable. It's kind of like that old pair of shoes that you just wear and wear and wear because they're great. Doesn't matter how ugly they are or torn apart they are. We just want to wear them because they're really comfortable. The second we have some discomfort is when we become aware of something. So being uncomfortable brings attunement and awareness to something that's not right, something that's not working anymore, something that maybe is causing some harm to you. It can be anything, but the feeling of discomfort is a sign for you to pay attention, to tune in, to see it, to acknowledge it, to name it, to look at it as much as possible. So we need to see what's actually going on. Discomfort is a way for us to attune into our life. Then it's about leaning into that discomfort. So instead of avoiding, which we use drinking and drugs and sex and shopping and all the things we do to avoid things, it's taking a breath, taking a moment to lean into that space of discomfort just a little bit longer, to see what the potential growth might be, to see what the potential learning might actually be. You are here to learn. Like, we're not here to live a super comfortable life all the time. We can't control external circumstances or external things that are happening to us. We can't control what our kids do or what our spouses do. We can't control any of those things. So we are built for discomfort. We are built to grow and to learn and to expand ourselves as much as possible, to be bigger and greater than we ever thought possible. And that doesn't come from being comfortable. It comes from being uncomfortable, from leaning into the hardness, to leaning into the discomfort of something in order to discover more about yourself. You will discover so much about yourself if you lean into some discomfort. The world is filled with things that make us uncomfortable, that call us to lean into something. You can lean into an uncomfortable conversation with your children. You can lean into an uncomfortable conversation with your spouse. And in those relationships and those conversations of leaning into something, you get to learn something about yourself, but also about the other person and that relationship. This is where intimacy and connection really, really grows. This is where connection to our communities, to the people in our lives, our friends, and all the relationships we have come from this place of leaning into discomfort. Whether that's just having a really difficult conversation that maybe you've been avoiding or not wanting to have, or not really sure how to say it perfectly, or concerned about somebody else's feelings. It's really important to have those conversations, to lean into that space. You will find so much more about yourself in leaning into things that are really uncomfortable. You will change patterns. You will notice things. You will also see a path towards how you can elevate your life or your skills or the growth that actually needs to happen by doing the uncomfortable things. No one has ever died of feeling uncomfortable. That's just not a thing. That's never a cause of death. It's not going to kill you to lean into something that's uncomfortable, to lean into the discomfort. I know it's an act of bravery. I know it's an act of vulnerability, but trust me that in that place of discomfort, you will find the greatest growth that you can possibly have. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, the easier it becomes, and the less you kind of work at avoiding and using all the unhealthy coping skills that we all use to avoid the discomfort. So I hope this inspires you to lean into some uncomfortable things in your life and to maybe have some hard conversations with others, and maybe some hard conversations with yourself, and leaning into that space of discomfort. Thanks for tuning in.